Young chefs, parents, Chef T Squared here. Welcome back to our second week of learning and cooking and chopping. We're going to do chicken noodle soup this week. So I hope you enjoy. We're back in my apartment with my friend Chester here. I think he's going to hang around because he likes chicken as well. So I hope we have a fun day today, cutting, chopping, smashing, and building some new recipes. Let's proceed with today's ingredients that you will be needing. Celery. Celery is always dirty, as are carrots that you're going to need, so make sure you give them a good wash. Garlic cloves that we're going to be smashing. There's 4 of those. And I grabbed a couple onions. Now, I just grabbed this many, 4 celery, maybe 5, 6 carrots. We'll see if we have too much carrots left over. We save them from another time. That's okay. We have our seasoning over here. Italian seasoning and ground coriander. Chicken broth is right here. That's 2 quarts. Olive oil. Our rotisserie chicken. The best thing to do is get it home hot and pick half of it. And then the other half eat and enjoy. Egg noodles. There's many different types of egg noodles. They're different looking, but they all taste the same. So don't worry if anything looks different. There's these type as well. But I'm going to use these because of Campbell's. Our bay leaves, 3 of them, because it's easy to pick out that I remember I put 3 in. So later on when you pick these out, you remember you put 3 in. Easy number to remember. And 1 cup of water, already measured out. So we're ready to go with our ingredients today. Okay, equipment check. We have our pot right here, wooden spoon. Metal bowls for our chicken and our vegetables. Tasting spoon. We're going to be tasting a lot during this recipe. Forks for picking. That makes it easier. Peeler. Ladle. Our chef's knife. Cutting board. And I keep on forgetting to write in the recipe that you'll be measuring in a measuring cup. It comes second nature to me to look at things, but I forget. We have young chefs, so we have to measure first. And then you'll be able to do everything by feel and by eye one day. And that is all the equipment you'll be needing today. So let's build on our knife skills from last week. Today, we have our carrot. Carrots need to be peeled. Some places you don't need to, but most carrots that we get in the United States, you want to peel them, okay? So you like to hold it like this, okay, with your thumb behind it, and your fingers curled. Almost like you're holding the telephone. Okay? Just like a smartphone. You're going to hold it just like that, but curl your fingers underneath. And then you're going to take your fingers on around. This peeler is the easiest to use. It's called a Swiss peeler. They're very cheap and they last a long time. And you're just going to pull from top to bottom. Top to bottom. And you're going to turn the carrot just a little bit. And you go top to bottom. Another easy way to do this as well for our younger learners is you could hold it with a fist. You're going to have to wash their hands afterward. And you could peel safely going this way, rotate this way, rotate this way, and so on and so forth. And you'll do it until the carrot is completely clean. Okay, see that dirtiness? And now it's clean. So you want to do it till it looks all the way like that. As you can see, the top, it's a little out of focus, but that's still dirty. And the bottom's clean. So go ahead and give all your carrots a nice peel. Leave the top on because it's just easier to hold sometimes if you're going up here and you're getting down all the way or the other way around. And then you could chop those off later on. Okay? And then you collect all this and we throw it in the trash. And if you want to see it one more time, this is a little bit of a quicker version. Okay, I have my carrot, and I'll just start slowly rotating with my fingers here. Slowly. And as I'm doing that, I'm peeling. Be careful not to get your fingers. This is why we start slow, and we go gradual. And go around the carrot twice if you're nervous. Safety first, always. That's why I take time in explaining these things. And then the bottom, we cut away later. Not worth trying to nick yourself doing that. Okay? And this sturdiness, we could cut out, or you could just peel until it's gone. Peeled carrots. Now you have your beautifully peeled carrots. And I already started cutting some, but I'm going to show you the proper way how to cut a carrot. Now a carrot usually, this is not the best one to use at first, this carrot, is this shape. That's a typical look of a carrot, right? So we want to cut the top and the bottom off. But with its funky shape, like a pyramid, we want to make sure that we cut it so it all cooks at the same rate. You do not want a crunchy carrot with a soft carrot in your soup. So how do we do that? Well, first we take our carrot and we cut it in half. And I like to use our bottoms for rounds, like these right here, because the rounds are fun in soup and everybody likes them. So first you'll cut them about 1/8 of an inch, because it's a small side. So it's going to cook quickly. Oh, a little miscut there. We'll push it away. Now, if you have 2 carrots that have almost the same bottom size, I would take them. You could put them together. Just 2 carrots right now. Don't go 3 or 4. But you could start cutting 2 at once to go faster. Not that we're looking to, but if we're going to build on our knife skills, it's best to start early. Get rid of those. Any cut, again, that you find funky or in particular or dangerous, don't do. Like if this is too dangerous for you to get in there, turn it on its side and make a half moon out of it. That's okay. And then when you eat soup later, you'll remember that half moon. Now for the top. I like to dice the top, so I'm going to cut it in half. Always flat sides down. And then I'm going to cut it in half again. Turn it on its sides. And again, you could do 2 at once, or you could just do 1. And you'll cut them a little bigger than 1/8 of an inch. And again, this is a little wider, but it's a dangerous cut, so I let it be. Again, rocking motion, tip down first, pushing through the vegetable, letting the knife do the work. You never want to push so hard. Make sure your knives are sharp. So again, quickly, cut the carrot top off, and then cut it in half, because this is the thick side. And then dice. Let me tell you, cutting through a camera is not as easy as it looks. Alright, diced carrots. Beautiful. Moving onward to celery. I put the carrots already in the measuring cup. It's just about a cup, a little bit more, but we'll use it all. Celery now. Very easy to cut, very fun. This is easy prep. The bottom, you want to cut right off. So you can take them all together, really. Okay? And this I do encourage. Lay them kind of together on top of each other so they sit together. And just give it a chop right off there. Take them all. And use this for stock later on, or if you're going to make some other dish, I would use it. But right now, for our purposes, we're not going to. We want to use the best of the vegetable. The top here, I usually like to just pick off the leaves. The leaves are tasty in other recipes. And parents, I always suggest when you're cooking with your young chefs, cut a little piece off and have them taste the vegetable as it is. Same with the carrots. I know carrots are big in the children's world, but it's always great to know what everything tastes like raw. Not chicken, of course, but just our vegetables, to know what flavor we're going to get out of them. Because really it's amazing, sweating vegetables, what you gain from just doing that small technique. to a vegetable. It brings big flavor. So I cut the tops off because they usually have browning. See right there, that's ugly. We don't want those guys, so we get rid of them. Now your celery, again, has this little break point where it was either breaching for sunlight or something, so you want to just cut that off. And they all have them, same at the top there. That's the top part of the celery, where it leaves out and it has its flower come. Okay, so we put those aside. We'll do the easy one first. The big stalks of celery. The ones that you could dip in peanut butter, right? So, we want to take them down to a manageable size, usually about 4 or 5 inches. So I cut it in half again. Now I take this one stalk of celery, and as you can see, it has that U shape or C shape. You're going to cut right down the middle of that C, okay? Right there. But you're going to put it on your board first. Flip it over, just so it's down, okay? And you're going to cut right down the middle. Now with the rest of your cuts, you're going to do a dice, another 1/8 of an inch. You want everything to cook at the same rate. Okay, and make sure you pick them apart. Sometimes the stringy parts stay. But that's our... it's out of focus. That's our diced celery. So again, I'll do the bottom one, and then we'll do a top together. I like to cut it right down the middle here. And then one more. Practice makes almost perfect food. I'm going to do 2 together on this one. 4 all day. And young chefs, this is our big part about cooking. This is what makes you faster, is cutting things quickly. It could take you all day to cut things, but only 30 minutes to cook. So if you get cut faster, safely, you're going to cook more, learn more, and eat more. The best way possible. Now our tops. I'm going to put them all together because they're much easier. Start with 2. And just do the same cut. Our tops, if you look at them, are almost the same as when you cut the big stalk in half. So that's what we're getting at, cutting the same, okay? It's about half. A little bit more. That's okay. All right? And they'll all cook evenly. Don't forget to try one out. All right, smashing some garlic. This is fun. This is everyone's favorite pastime. Everyone can remember one woman or man in their life when they were younger doing this on the cutting board growing up. And I'm going to pass it on to the other younger chefs, as you will. So smashing garlic is particularly easy and fun. You could use your chef's knife, but for this particular task, we want to be safe about it. So we're going to use something, it's called a bench scraper. Okay, you can get these anywhere. They're made out of plastic. There's metal ones too. And all you're going to do is you're going to take your garlic, you're going to put it under your bench scraper. You're going to take your palm of your hand, okay, like a high five, and you're just going to smash it. Give it 2. And you got your smashed garlic. And you can just peel all the skin away from it. Now you prepped your garlic. Again, take your bench scraper, flat, palm down, okay? It's going to give it a good whack. And you can peel away that hard skin, just like on the onion that the garlic has. Okay, they're cousins, they grow on the ground, so sometimes they act the same. And then, if you like, you could do 2 at once. Looking like a real chef now. Give it a good smack. Oh! See, sometimes things start moving when you Smack the counters. And that's our garlic. I'm going to clean up the cutting board, and then I'll show you how we're going to cut our garlic. My board's all cleaned up. Now we have our smashed garlic. The main thing you want to do with chopping garlic is just get the root end off. Just like the onion, it has that ugly bud on it. You want to get rid of it. The top sometimes has green. You can get rid of it, but these are beautiful, so I'm going to leave them. But just shave that end off, okay? Just like that. And it's gone. Now it's smashed, okay? And now all you want to do is just chop it. Just give it a good rough chop, you know? Get your other hand out of there. Kind of bring it back together into little piles. And you can put your hand on top of your knife here. That's a safe cut, okay? It's on top of the knife here. And we're just going to rock the knife back and forth. Rock the knife. I'm pressing here, and I'm just putting my hand there. I'm not pressing my hand down. I'm not pushing there. I'm rocking with this end. This is the hand doing the work. This is moving. This is just a guider. Again, I use the back of my knife to bring everything together. My finger to push everything down, okay? Again, push it down. Push away from the blade if you want to get things off the blade. You push away. You'll never cut yourself. Bring the knife, all the garlic together with the knife. And again, hand on top here. You can put your thumb out, thumb in, but my hands are big, so I'm just trying to make it so you can see, and you're going to chop. Okay? Doesn't need to be perfect, just needs to be a few times through the garlic, and you're done. Let's do one more piece. Put that to the side. I cut the root end off. This one's kind of ugly. Oh, he still had a little stuff there. Okay, this one wasn't smashed so great, so I could just use palm my hand to get in there and just pop it. Okay, and now we're just going to give it a chop. Hand on top now. Push away from the blade. Use your knife to bring everything back together. Hand on top. And we're chopping, and we're chopping. Back. You can make it as small as you like if you want to keep practicing, but just make sure you're pushing away from the blade here, getting all the garlic off, because it will stick. You're getting all this oil and all this delicious juice out of the garlic doing this, so that's why that's happening. Okay? And give it just a chop. When you're all done with each garlic, you can bring them all back together and give it one major cut through. And that's how you're going to properly chop your garlic. Enjoy the smells. All right, a very quick recap on the onion. We have our flower end, our root end. You're going to be cutting your flower end straight off. Your root end is shaved off. Okay, so it's still intact. Cut your onion in half. Get rid of the junk. Again, top. Shave the bottom, cut in half. Now your onion is beginning to be prepped and cut. Peel away any brown and green. Cut into rows, and then your dice. Parents, if you want to start showing your children another cut off of this, if you think they're ready. I don't like that piece, it's ugly. You could cut once this way. Be very careful, fingers on top here. And then do your rows. That's just going to make the dice tighter and more even onion throughout the dish. Cutting our onion. All right, our chicken, rotisserie chicken, that makes this recipe so much faster and easier and pretty flavorful, I have to say. So what I like to do with our chicken is usually have it hot from the store. I like to prep it, cut right down the middle of the breast here. Okay. And then you could just peel that meat right out. Use your fork and just pick the meat. That's all you're going to do. Hold it and pick it. Hold it and pick it. You get a big chunk out there, hold it, give it a little pick. All right? I like to return the meat right back into the container because it has some juices in there. And that's great flavor. Okay? Some you can leave thick because it's going to break up when the soup boils. But break it up. Okay? And as for the skin, I love skin in soup. That's my thing. So you could take it and give it a nice dice or chop. And you can put that in your soup. It adds delicious flavor. You don't even notice it because it's roasted. So I like to do that as well. As for the rest of the bird, I like the dark meat the best. It's going to have this string. You can just pull that right off. And you can just pull the thigh away from the bird. Oh, another string. Full of surprises. And as you can see here, there's a bone. And you could just peel that meat away from the bone. Okay, I'll peel more later. And then you have all this meat that you could do with a fork, or you could just push away with your fingers, which dark meat's usually juicier, so it's easier to push away with your fingers. I use the fork on the breast. And now the challenge to turn off the camera. All right, let's start with the fun part of cooking. Start with your olive oil, 2 tablespoons. I like to just coat the bottom of the pan. Pot, I should say. And pot is nice and hot. As you can see, the oil is moving quick. So that's how I know it's hot and ready. Or I can drop a piece of onion in there. Since the oil's already in the pot, you do not want to flick a little water in there because it will splatter. Onions go in, and it should sound like this. Give it a quick stir so the oil touches all of the onion so it starts cooking evenly, and let it cook out for 5 minutes. Our onions look quite different now and are nicely sweated. No browning, as you can see. Okay, it should be easy to stir them. And now you're going to add your celery and carrots. Give them a quick stir. As you see, I work off timers. Stir it all together. Look at that beautiful color. This is what we call mirepoix. Okay, if you could say that. That's a French word. That means carrot, celery, and onion. Call that mirepoix. And now you're going to season with a nice heavy pinch or 2 pinches of salt. Give it a stir so that salt touches every single vegetable in there. And start your timer for another 5 minutes. And we have another 5 minutes has gone by, and our vegetables are sweating nicely. Again, it could be longer than 5 minutes depending on how nicely you cut everything. But the look of it is your carrots are going to be a nice bright orange. There's going to be a bright green that's coming out of your celery. And your onion should almost look translucent, clear, or white to pale. Okay? That's the color. That means everything is getting nice and flavorful in that pot. Okay? If you want to leave it another minute, you can. Moving forward, I'm going to just make a little bit of a spot in the middle of my pot. And I'm going to be putting a little bit of olive oil. I didn't write this in the recipe. This is just a little trick. A little bit of olive oil in the center there. A touch. Put the garlic in now. Okay? You can leave that garlic in the center for a second. And by a second, I mean 30 seconds. Season a little salt in there. Right on the garlic. And then your pepper all around. As you're seasoning with pepper, your garlic is cooking 2 ways. The salt on top is cooking some juice out of it as the bottom is bringing heat together. So we're just sweating them really quickly. That's all we're doing there. Wait another 10-15 seconds, and then we're going to give it a stir. During that stir, I'm going to be putting in our seasonings, our coriander and our Italian seasoning, as well as our bay leaves. Bay leaves go in last because as you're stirring, they can break up, and you don't want that in your pot too early. Okay, now I'm ready to stir because I smell the garlic nicely. You can see the pepper moving around there. Work everything off the sides of your pot. As you can see there, that's why I use a flat one, flat wooden spoon. And now we add our coriander. And our Italian seasoning. And now I'm just stirring. As I wrote in the directions, give it a good heavy stir for a minute here. You want to really spread everything out. Although the soup is going to carry all the flavor, there's still something about just evenly stirring everything before the last few ingredients go in. That little care could change the recipe that much. That makes it taste better. Okay. Now it's looking really beautiful in there. Really nice colors. Add my bay leaves. Stir them lightly in there for a second. Just so they get a little oil on them and a little juice so they can start cooking a little bit. And I'll let this sweat just for another minute. Now we're going to put our water and our stock. First start with the water. You're asking why is he putting water? Because this is going to cook down and I want the water to cook out, not the stock. The stock is already seasoned and flavored. I buy stock that has salt in it already, unlike butter. So you pour your stock right in there. And as it comes to a boil, the steam that's cooking off it is the water, not the stock. I got everything in there. Just keep on stirring. Make sure when you get all that stock in there, just give it a good 15-20 second stir here. There shouldn't be anything on the bottom, but sometimes there is. And now you want to turn your heat up to medium or high just to get it going and to a low boil. As you can see, the soup is coming up to a light boil. And I'm going to be putting our chicken in now. I picked the whole chicken, so I'm putting all of it in. Give it a stir. It should come back to a boil rather quickly. Maybe a minute, maybe while I'm stirring it here. And then get your tasting spoons ready. The soup came back to a boil. I take my tasting spoon. I take a little bit of the broth, blow on it for about 10 seconds. Give it a taste. If it's enough salt and it tastes great, congratulations, you just made delicious chicken soup. Now add your noodles into it and let that cook for however long the package says. Mine says 6 minutes, so I'm just going to pour my noodles into there. Give it a good stir around. Maybe season with a little more pepper. I like spice. I saw one of our young chefs last week had some jalapenos on the side of his patty melt. So I suggest anybody, if you want to add some spice to your soup when you're putting the seasoning in, your Italian seasoning and your coriander, I like to add sometimes cumin, red pepper flakes, or cayenne pepper. Could add a little spice to it, makes it spicy chicken noodle soup, which is also equally as delicious, if not more. Or you could add fresh jalapenos. Anything you like. Be a chef about it. 6 more minutes and we'll see our finished soup. The egg noodles are done cooking, so now I'm going to ladle out our soup so we can enjoy it. So you're going to grab your ladle, all different shapes and sizes, and you're going to hold it about a quarter way down with your thumb and your pointer finger wrapped around it just like your knife, and your 3 fingers behind it. And then you're going to pull some soup out. Take your bowl, bring your bowl to your soup pot, and put some soup in. Holding at this part of the ladle gives you control of your soup. If you hold at the top of the ladle, see how wobbly it is? Now go down, choke up, right? I can move that around and I have complete control of my soup. So you go from the bottom to get all the delicious solids, which is the chicken and our noodles and our very nicely cut vegetables. And then you stick your ladle on the top and just tilt it so the water or broth goes in. And now you have your delicious, beautiful, tasty chicken noodle soup on a cool September or October day. Enjoy. Oh, you guys are still here. Well, if you're still here, I hope you're still enjoying some chicken noodle soup, because I had a great time cooking with you today. I hope you had a great time learning and enjoying your food. Until next time, me and Chester, we're out. Enjoy.